Is manifestation magic? Maybe. I think that's why people find it so intriguing. Now, as a psychologist, I think there are some very real reasons that manifestation can feel so powerful. And most of them have a lot to do with how we think, feel, and act. One of the biggest shifts happens when you decide what it is that you want. Because the moment you decide, you start asking totally different questions. So instead of, could I ever start a business? You start asking, what would it take for me to start a business? And instead of, could I ever move? You start asking, what would need to happen for me to move? So instead of wondering if something is possible, you start looking for ways to make it possible. And that's important because I always say, if you look for dust, you'll find dust. When your attention goes somewhere, you'll usually find more of the thing that you're paying attention to. And you can see it with almost anything. So, for example, blue Toyotas, couples everywhere when you're single, people on vacation year round on Instagram. The world hasn't necessarily changed, but your attention has. And when your attention changes, your behavior follows. You may have heard of this being referred to as the self fulfilling prophecy, the confirmation bias, or the expectancy effect. And you probably experienced it yourself in school. So think about a class that you liked. You probably paid attention, studied, asked questions, and put in effort. Now think about a class that you hated. Maybe you procrastinated on homework, maybe you skipped the class altogether, and you likely figured you weren't going to do well anyway, so what's the point? And then the grades came back, and what happened? Chances are they confirmed exactly what you expected. A lot of times, our expectations influence our behavior long before the outcome arrives. And the same thing can happen with jobs, relationships, businesses, creative projects, and really just about anything else. And I've seen this happen in my own business too, many times. So I'll create a new course, I'll get really excited about it, I'll talk about it everywhere, I'll email people, I'll share it in different places. And often I make sales on day one. But then the excitement fades, and I stop talking about it as much, and I stop promoting it consistently. And so, of course, sales drop. It would be really easy to say that, oh, the manifestation didn't work or it stopped working. But usually that's not what happened. I stopped doing my part. I moved away from action back into just wanting. And I think there's one more reason that some people are particularly drawn to manifestation, and that's hope. As adults, it's easy to become really cynical because there's plenty of reasons and messages that we get about what's wrong, what's broken, what doesn't work, why things won't work out for us. Whereas manifestation asks a different question. It asks, what if things do work out? What if something good can happen to me? What if I don't actually know what's going to happen yet? And maybe that's a good thing because it means that I still have a say in it. And so I think that's really powerful. Not because hope magically creates results, but because hopeful people tend to keep going. They look for solutions. They keep trying different things. They keep taking action and moving forward. So, is manifestation magic? Maybe. Is it psychology? I think that's a big part of it too. But what I do know is that when people decide what they want, when they stay open to possibilities and take action, they tend to create very different results than people who stay stuck in indecision and who wait for life to change on its own. And when I was growing up, My half Jewish family used to tell me this joke very often. So Moshe was asking God to win the lottery. He prayed and he prayed and he said, God, what I wouldn't do to win, can you please help me out just this one time? And one day, suddenly, the sky broke open, and Moshe heard God's thundering voice after yet another plea. And God said, Moshe, for the love of everything holy, go buy a ticket. So if you've been spending a lot of time wanting something, but not actually taking action on it, then I have a free resource for you. It's called From Stuck to Started, and you can sign up below. One of the things I help people do inside is move away from seeking certainty and instead into taking action. Because certainty and clarity rarely come from just thinking about something longer. Usually, they come from taking that next step. So you can sign up below. And if you want more stuff on manifestation and psychology and mindfulness, then like and subscribe to my channel. And in the next video, we're going to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make with manifestation and why it keeps them stuck. So I'll talk to you then. Bye for now.